Elon Musk just came out and changed what may be the future of online media with this newest concept for Twitter. Now, let's get into this. I think a lot of us knew that this was coming, but it is officially here. We're going to go to Elon Musk's Twitter. Here you go. Long form tweets of 4,000 characters will be launched in early February. Popbase reported this tweet just earlier today. And then here we have a quote tweet by Noah Bloom. He says, "People assume these will be displayed on the timeline, and I'm not sure why. I figure it'll be just tweet longer style or read more style, meaning the tweet will come up and then it'll ask you to like press read more and then it'll turn into like an article. They'll be their own thing. At least that's my assumption." Elon Musk responds, "Yes, these will be the same timeline screen space as other tweets, but you will be able to click for more." So in a tweet on Twitter, you have a 280 character max limit. And I'm assuming if this goes beyond 280 characters, it'll have a little button that says read more. You click read more, and then boom, you've got all of your article, your content. Elon then says, "We will also be adding simple formatting features like bold, underline, and font size later this quarter. The goal is to allow people to publish long form natively on Twitter rather than forcing them to use another website. Twitter will continue to recommend brevity in tweets." Now, there's a lot of layers of analysis in this that I want to get to to talk sort of about why this is transformational for Twitter and why this is important. If you're a Tesla shareholder, this is also very important because if Elon fixes Twitter, he has a much better chance of getting Tesla's stock price to go up because Twitter is not going to be bankrupt in like 6 months. And by the way, he says they have $1 billion in the bank. They're running $3 billion per year. So they're kind of down. So they need to figure out how to make this thing at least a break even, if not profitable in the next 6-7 months. And so I think long form tweets can be one way to do that. Now, a couple things. Everyone on Twitter primarily uses Twitter, at least the professional class of creators on Twitter. I mean, there's a lot of people just saying whatever on Twitter, but people who are actual like content creators that want to get their ideas and messages out there, they have blogs, they have websites where they have their own content. I, for example, make a lot of content about a stock called Palantir. I have a website called dailypalantir.com, and on dailypalantir.com, we have a bunch of long form articles. Why do we not post those on Twitter in terms of the actual content? Because Twitter only allows 280 characters, and you can post like threads, which are multiple tweets of your content, but it's not the same experience as like the 20-year-old experience of people reading an article on the internet, or a many 100-year long experiment of people just reading an article on paper. So there's something about long form writing that is absolutely essential to, I think, the human nature, and people want to read long form content. So on Twitter, I post links. Let me actually show you an example right now of what it looks like to post a link. So if we go to Daily Palantir, this is the name of the Twitter account. And, why do we post on Twitter? Because we have 5,205 followers. I could not find 5,000 people to read my blog about Palantir, which is such a niche topic in the grand scheme of, the existence of the world, by myself. So Twitter, which is a centralized network that has 250 million people using it every day, that's a better place to find people to, use to engage with your content. So Twitter is an incredible tool from that perspective. But here's what it looks like when we share an article. So we have an article right here. We have a quote from the article, and then we say read more, and then you can click it. And then boom, when you click it, it leads to an article. And that's a long form piece of content. That's how we use Twitter to market the website. Now, the article itself, or that tweet itself, also got views. Elon Musk rolled out a feature the other day that was, I think, phenomenal, which is views. 1,451 views. That means these are essentially impressions. These are 1,451 times this tweet actually popped up into someone's feed and gave them a chance to click on it. If I actually just switch right here to Daily Palantir, I can actually show the number of link clicks that tweet also got. So if I click this right here, this tweet got 7 link clicks. So not the most amount of link clicks off of 1,418 impressions. It is a Sunday. That article might not be the most interesting right now. It's a little bit older news. But nonetheless, 7 people got to find out about that article, clicked on it, and found out about the website, or were able to spend time on the website. Now, how do I monetize? On that website, there's not getting that much traffic right now, but there are ads on that website. And one day, I believe this website will be getting hundreds of thousands of people reading it every day. That just depends on if Palantir can really become the transformational company that I think it can become. But if it is, there's a lot of money to be made off ads off that website. So Twitter's entire business model has primarily been people uploading these short little links and previews and getting so much value out of finding new content on Twitter. I find so many articles and things that I'm reading every day, all from Twitter, that I come back to Twitter every day. How does Twitter make money? They make money in the spread, right? There's an ad in between this link and this link. Both of those links get you off the platform, which is not good for Twitter. Like, no social media company wants their user-generated content to leave you from the platform, to stop consuming more user-generated content on Twitter, YouTube, or Facebook, but to get you on someone else's site. But they also understand that the reason those content publishers like me with my little media company with Daily Palantir is publishing to Twitter in the first place is because we need the traffic for our own sugar honey iced tea, right? So at that point, it's an important thing to recognize that the nature of Twitter has always been a distribution mechanism. Now, that's not the best for the company, and Elon has been adamant that he wants to change that. Why does Elon want to change that? Because he needs more people to spend more time on Twitter. And the only way you can sell them more ads and get them to see more stuff and potentially subscribe to more features is if you get them to spend more time. There's a couple of implications of allowing 4,000 character, let's call them articles, on Twitter. First of all, if I see an interesting headline and I click read more and I start reading something on Twitter, that means more of my time is spent on Twitter. I would be very shocked if, when this feature rolls out and you get a lot of content publishers just putting their content on Twitter, maybe not the New York Times of the world and the Washington Post, because I think they still want to get people onto their website, and they will probably have a little bit of a politically, a little incentive to not post on Twitter because they want their sites to still remain relevant. Then I'm gonna be spending more time on Twitter. So I can't imagine lots and lots of people, even if not the big media companies, posting their stuff on Twitter in long form and getting other people to be able to consume that content. And if that happens, more time is gonna be spent on Twitter. So that's the first thing. Number two is that's another form of revenue, because if you go to any media website in the world and you read an article, there are ads in between the paragraphs. And Twitter has put ads in between tweets, and they've done a phenomenal job at that. But what happens when someone is highly engaged in an article about Palantir, which is a AI-based data management company? It's much more than that, but you know what I mean, on Twitter. And then you can read the context of all of those words, those 4,000 characters, which is a lot more context than 280 characters. And the machine learning algorithms at Twitter have a way better accuracy and ability to determine which ads should be placed in that article if you on Twitter. So there's a couple of implications to this, because now if Palantir was to advertise on Twitter and their ad is going directly in an article, or some other data management company or a competitor to Palantir wants to advertise and they want to get the Palantir ideal customers' attention, they put that ad right in front of an article that is rooted with all about, like, that the ability for the user experience to be better with that advertisement is just so much more higher than just scrolling through random tweets and seeing some irrelevant ads. So I think you get more relevant ads. Number two, and here's the real kicker, you can finally share some revenue with creators. I mean, like, you can share rev from ads on your articles. It's very hard for Twitter to share ad revenue with users on Twitter because ads are placed randomly in between tweets, right? So you can't really attribute the value of the advertisement to you as an individual creator. So for example, on YouTube, if I post a video and there's an ad before my video, that should be a share of my revenue because I made the content. YouTube can attribute that advertising gain for the platform in ad spend to me, and they can cut me a little bit of a check. So Twitter has never been able to do that because users don't really own their content. They're just random tweets. At least, like, I kind of metaphorically own my videos, and YouTube has a better sense of where that money's coming from. On Twitter, if I publish an article now and Twitter puts ads there and they give me 50% of the revenue, I mean, my Daily Palantir website right now is not making that much money. And I don't have 5,000 followers of my website every day. I have 5,000 followers on Twitter. If Elon Musk can say, hey, Amit, post your articles here because we're going to give you 50% or 45% or 65% of the ad revenue, and you're going to make way more ad revenue than you ever could have imagined on your own little blog. I mean, look, we're doing this, like, this is a money opportunity at the end of the day. Now, maybe I have a better long-term potential to make a lot of money on my own website. Obviously, I'm passionate about the website. I'm passionate about creating content, but you want to monetize at some point. You're putting in a lot of work to make this. You need to have some business model associated with it. But if I can start making money tomorrow because I have 5,000 followers who could read that article in one place on that account, that's a game changer. I'll post in both places, but why wouldn't I also post on Twitter and just let people read it on Twitter? They don't have to come to my website, and I'll make some more money. And then I'll build my influence, and then I can drive them to my website in other ways. Or maybe I don't even need the website. What is the value of the website at that point? There's a lot of questions to be discussed here when it comes to this implication. Let's take a look at a website called Substack. Substack is a website that basically has made it possible for people to make a living off of a newsletter. They created the infrastructure and the payment structure and the ability for newsletters to actually find other people with their discovery recommendation algorithms. And, you know, they've been able to really help people. This website gets 50 million visits a month. And they have hundreds of thousands of creators that write their own Substacks, and you can subscribe to them, and Substack takes like 10% off of the newsletter. So if I was to have 100,000 subscribers and they pay $5 a month, I'm making $500,000 a month. Substack takes 10%. They take 50,000 a month. And now imagine that times a lot of people that are using this platform. This is one of the most popular platforms for newsletter. It is really the staple. It's like YouTube for video. Substack is that for newsletter. There are very few platforms that are competing with Substack in the context of newsletter. There are other ones there, but Substack is the king. Elon Musk has explored the idea of buying Substack and he said that publicly on Twitter because he realized how valuable Substack was as a platform. Well, if you just get people to monetize their content on Twitter with ads without forcing people to pay, or you can force them to pay as well, and then they get no ads, and then Twitter gives you a little bit of cover to that, it's a game changer. It is an absolute game changer because now you don't have to get people to like click on something and subscribe to your Substack. It's just all on Twitter. Twitter becomes that super app that Elon's really talking about. So I think before we get into videos and a YouTube competitor, if Elon can nail long form articles and really create the incentive for media publishers like me that are not big but would love to leverage Twitter's ability to get people to publish long form content, I think it's a game changer for Twitter. I think that something real can be done. And a lot of people have talked about potential game changers for Twitter. I think this is actually something that can save Twitter, bring it a whole new age of monetization, bring a lot more creators the chance to make a living off the platform, which would keep people on the platform if they're making a living. That's why YouTube is so successful, and get a lot more people's content discovered at the end of the day. So those are my thoughts on Twitter and what Elon Musk can do to save Tesla by essentially saving Twitter. And I think that's going to be a real opportunity for Elon going into 2023. Let me know your thoughts and comments. Thank you so much for listening and watching this video. I'll see you on the next one.